Greetings and welcome to IBI, India Business Insights. The last few weeks have been flooded with the news of Budget 2023, and the taxes, both direct and indirect, have been the major topic of discussion. While we at India Business Insights have been keeping our viewers updated with all of this, today we shall be discussing one of the most popular topic of discussion that is in the mind of all the individuals, that is the Goods and Services Tax, GST. So before we go ahead with this video, I request our viewers to like and share this video and subscribe to India Business Insights. Today, we are privileged to have among us a professional who shall guide us through the GST. We have with us CH Surabhi Bohra. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, Disha.
She's a qualified chartered accountant with specialization in GST and indirect taxes. She's also a faculty identified by the Institute of Chartered Accountants for GST. She's an active member in subcommittee of eminent professional bodies like the Association of Corporate Advisors and Executive and the Central Kolkata. So we are privileged to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Along with that, we have Sonal Bhura. She is a CA finalist and she is an analyst at India Business Insights.
Thank you,
So, ma'am, to begin with, could you take us through a brief history of GST and the purpose for the implementation of GST?
So, GST was implemented on 1st of July 2017. And before GST, we had multiple taxes which were levied by the central and the state government. So basically, what was the issue that we had taxes at multiple level and on different events, like on manufacture, on sale, on services, and different taxes like central excise duty, service tax, entry tax, VAT, and these taxes were levied. Due to this, there was a huge problem among the tax assessees as well as the state government and the central government of the point of taxation, different regime of taxations, different laws, different acts, as well as there was multiplicity of tax on a single transaction. So we had cascading effect and we had multiple taxes on the same transaction. So these tantamounted to a lot of complications, a lot of litigations, and a lot of complexities for doing a businesses. So basically what government wanted, they wanted one simplified tax, and that is why they wanted one tax in one nation. So they implemented GST, uniforming all the taxes that were earlier levied by them. So in GST, there were many taxes which have been, they have been subsumed. There are almost around 22 taxes and acts which have been subsumed in GST to remove this problem regarding the multiple taxation, cascading effect of taxes, and having the credit and benefiting the different manufacturers, traders, and the service providers, so that they can deal on the similar level, similar price of the items and the services or the goods provided by them.
So, ma'am, could you please take us through to whom is the GST applicable?
Okay, so basically GST is applicable on any kind of supply that you're doing, supply regarding goods or services. And for that, GST has, the GST law has stated that there are certain threshold limit, that is 20 lakh for those who are staying in normal states and 10 lakhs for these special category states on whom the GST will be applicable. Apart from that, there are certain persons who have been who have to obtain compulsory registration, which has been specified in section 24. Some of them I'm telling you, some are in persons who are making interstate taxable supply. Some of them are casual taxable person who is required to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism, person who is required to pay tax under section 9(5), non-resident taxable person who is required to deduct tax under section 51 and 55 of CGST Act, person who are taxable under on behalf of taxable as agent, and input service distributors. So these are few persons who are compulsorily required to obtain registration. Apart from this, there are certain persons who have been exempted from obtaining taxation, from obtaining registration under GST. These persons are specified and notified under section 23.
question, ma'am. I'd like to ask you that what's the process for registration, like the documents which are involved, the problems, frequent problems which are there, the time duration, and other costs.
Okay. So basically, GST registration is something which has to be done online. It is a PAN-based registration. So every state you want to obtain a registration, you have to obtain it through your PAN. And the process is basically very simple, and you just have to arrange all the documents which has to be uploaded online on the GST portal, which is gst.gov.in. So for that, your basic documents which are required are the PAN card, Aadhaar card of the person who is going to be the legal person. And apart from that, the AKYC of the authorized signatory, board resolution in case it is a company, an NOC, the ownership documents of the property, like the NOC or the rent agreement or the ownership deed. Apart from that, trade license. Apart from that, the picture of the authorized signatory and the key managerial persons of the company. These are the few basic documents which are required to be uploaded. Apart from that, we need to give the details of what are the goods and the services that we are going to supply. The top 5 of such goods or services have to be mentioned on the GST portal. One important thing that we need to keep in mind while taking the GST registration is that we need to link our Aadhaar and PAN, because an Aadhaar authentication will be done at the end of the registration. So we need to link our Aadhaar and PAN initially, so that the process is quite goes on very smoothly. And what are the major issues that we face during obtaining registration? Some of them are that the documents are not proper, the legal and trade name differs. So in that case, the trade license should be there. We should specifically mention in our, while obtaining the registration, that what is the legal name of the company. Legal name is something which is there on the PAN card, and the trade name is something which is the name of the which is the name of the business through which you are doing the business. Apart from this, the other issues that are there in the while obtaining the registration is that there might be a possibility that you don't have the NOC, because you are taking you have maybe taken the table space from the director or the owner of the company. So we need to have a proper document in place for that. So these documents already have to be arranged before applying for the registration, so that the registration happens quickly. Ideally, the registration takes 3 days to 5 days. It may happen if the documents are in place, it may be done on this very same day. So we have to, it totally depends on the documents that are involved for obtaining the registration.
And ma'am, are there any costs involved?
So basically, GST registration does not involve any cost, because it is totally done online process. It is totally an online process, and you have to do the registration on the GST portal. However, the professional charges, if any, if you're taking help of any professional, you might have to pay some professional fees for that.
Okay, ma'am. The next question that I'd like to put forward is, how difficult is the compliance of this entire GST?
So basically, the compliance is very easy if you know the law, and it is difficult if you don't know the law. So it is a very subjective thing to say, because the GST law, even though the government wanted it to be simplified, it is not yet that simple, because there are amendments on a daily basis in the GST law. So basically, there are 2 returns that you need to file on monthly basis. One is GSTR 1 and one is GSTR 3B. In one, you basically report your outward supply, and in 3B, you take the credit and you offset your tax liability. So if you don't know the provisions of how to claim the input tax credit, what are the eligible credits, and how do you which columns you have to report the different tax liabilities. So these are the important things that we need to think about before filing the returns. So it is moderately, if you can say, it is moderately difficult for an assessee not having much knowledge about GST to file the returns.
Okay, ma'am. And are there any penalties for non-compliance with GST?
Yes, there are penalties, there are late filing fees, there are interest liabilities if you don't file the returns on time. There are other penal provisions as well, wherein your GST registration may be cancelled if you are not filing the returns on time. There are monetary penalties as well if you do which may be imposed if you don't file the returns, and that may be happening at a very later stage. But initially, if you are not complying with the GST compliances, if you're not filing the returns for, say, 3 consecutive period, then your registration may be cancelled suo motu by the department.
Okay, ma'am. And are there any other cases where the GST registration can be cancelled?
So GST, if the proper officer may on his motion, he may think that if the business has been discontinued or you want to transfer the business, then or upon the death of the proprietor, or if the firm is amalgamated, the registration may be cancelled. This may be this application may be made by the assessee. However, the registration may be cancelled by the officer if he thinks that the person who has obtained the registration is misusing the registration and is doing no transaction, and if he has not filed the GST returns for 3 consecutive periods. And obviously he'll be given a chance for proving himself that there were other reasons for not doing so.
Okay, ma'am.
Please tell us something about the GST that you want our viewers to know.
Okay, so there are some things that I would like my viewers to know about GST. So GST is a law. If you know the law, then you are on a win-win position, wherein you should know what are the eligible credits, you should know what are the blocked credits, you should know how to claim the credits and rightly claim the credits. You have to be you have to chase up your suppliers so that they file the returns on time, because your claiming of credits is totally dependent on your suppliers filing of returns. So these are some things that we should have in mind while filing the GST returns and being a GST compliant taxpayer.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing all the issues that we had, all the questions that we had. And I hope that if there are any further questions that our audience members have, then they put it forward in the comment section and we are able to address them. So thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing all of these, and of credit inputs on routine compliances, returns, and related questions in the upcoming videos with the guidance of professionals like Surabhi, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I will